Today we're looking at how to create and monetize a YouTube channel. So one of the most obvious things to start with is a Google search. And please note there is extensive information here. However, I want to try and help this become as simple as possible for you when kind of sifting through it and trying to find stuff that's kind of relevant to your world and not too wordy at the same time. So one of the main things here that I want to kind of pick up on is that there's quite a lot of people out there trying to offer this, but understand they are also trying to monetize their content too. So my advice is go to stuff that's a little bit more to do with YouTube and a little bit less to do with an individual's account and their potential clickbait and all the other sort of things that seem helpful perhaps on paper, but actually secretly probably help you to make someone else's channel money and maybe not get the highest quality information. So yeah, my advice would be check as many Google resources, and that's when it's still got a Google account within the URL up here, as well as also going to YouTube and using stuff that Google says is a youtube.com based resource. You will notice that they do have a whole section called YouTube Studio. I highly advise you go and have a look at that because there's loads of content to choose from. What I'm going to do here though is start off with something really simple that explains how to actually make money on YouTube. Then I'm going to start defining it in as many different places for you as possible. And as always, and helpfully, I'll just change screens quickly. You'll also see that everything that I'm sharing with you today comes with notes that are available too. Okay. Right, so apologies for that and for any of the background noise that you might have just heard. Okay, so I'm going to leave this video to play for you here now.
Hi, my name is Stefan and I'm a monetization strategist here at YouTube. The question I often hear from creators is, when can I start making money on YouTube? So I'm going to explain the basics of what you need to know to start earning money with your YouTube channel. Before you can earn money on your channel, you need an audience. Now, to build an audience, you need to make consistent videos that viewers really like watching. And like anything on YouTube, it's important that your videos follow YouTube's community guidelines. After that's all working for you, you can apply to join the YouTube Partner Program, or YPP, which lets creators monetize their videos on YouTube. To qualify for YPP, you need to be in good standing with YouTube and have 4,000 valid public watch hours in the previous 12 months and at least 1,000 subscribers. Now, we've set these thresholds because we want creators to be good citizens on the platform, and these requirements ensure our teams have enough information to really review your channel. Note that you can only apply to YPP after you cross the watch hour and subscriber thresholds. We'll keep you updated on your progress towards hitting these thresholds in the Monetization tab in YouTube Studio. You can also choose to be notified with an email once you're eligible to apply. Once your channel does hit these thresholds, you'll need to sign the Partner Program terms and sign up for a Google Adsense account. After all of these steps are completed, then your channel will be reviewed against our policies. And if everything looks good, you can start earning money from ads and from YouTube Premium subscribers watching your content. Also, once you're approved for the YouTube Partner Program, there are other revenue streams besides ads that you can tap into. Things like channel memberships or Super Chat, as long as you meet their criteria and they're available in your country. So that's the program in a nutshell. Now I'm going to walk you through some of the most common questions we get. The first is around channel reviews. Say you think your channel qualifies for YPP, but it hasn't been reviewed yet. Well, we usually get back to you in about a month once you hit the review thresholds, but you can find more about your status on the monetization page in YouTube Studio. Until then, keep making great content and focusing on building your audience. Another question that comes up, what if your channel isn't approved? If you're not approved for YPP, it's likely because your channel doesn't meet the YouTube Partner Program policies and community guidelines, in which case you can reapply again in 30 days as long as you still meet the watch hour and subscriber thresholds. Before you reapply, we suggest you read through these policies. There's some links in the video description, and go to the monetization page in your account and review your videos with our YouTube Partner Program policies and community guidelines in mind. The next step is to edit or delete any videos that violate these policies. Once you're successfully in the program, creators often ask, do I have to meet this threshold every year? The short answer is no. However, you do need to stay active with uploads and community posts. If you're inactive on your channel for 6 months and fall below the threshold, we may remove your channel from the partner program. Stay tuned to this channel and the Creator Academy for more insights, including how to get the most out of ads and other monetization features. Thanks, and bye for now.
So quite a corporate video put together there, which again, just going through and picking up on some of the basics that were highlighted here. So they've got various different kind of stipulations. So here we are, you have to be in a good standing with YouTube, i.e. no trolley comments and a history of whatever account that you've used that channel with, going against the grain or kind of making outlandish or negative, as Google defined, comments. You also had to have had 4,000 public hours watching your channel in the last 12 months. So it could just be one video that's only 3 minutes long, but obviously those 3 minutes need to have been watched by up to 4,000 hours by as many different viewers as possible. So potentially doing something with 1 million would take you over that threshold straight away. There is 2 things that I want you to consider right from the beginning, even though with a YouTube channel, and how to monetize it, in that we already know from previous work and looking at stuff before, my apologies, I'm just looking for the right page. When we looked at this stuff here in weeks before, we do know that this is the lowest paid per view opportunity online currently. And now perhaps Spotify paying much better and considerably more than YouTube per view is why a lot of people are now also trying to move to Spotify. So let's consider today's kind of talk is a little bit more about the podcasting market perhaps, as well as a YouTube channel, although there are lots of different ways to utilize YouTube. Moving further forward through the video again, they also want you to have at least 1,000 subscribers. You'll notice they have various different partner programs and stuff. These are very helpful. I've had students of mine before go through and get further elements of this. People like GRM Daily have used their opportunities with this, which again, all this helps you to grow subscribers and obviously the amount of hours that your channel gets watched. All of that turns back into money. But as we know, potentially with YouTube, YouTube doesn't pay you masses just for your content. It's the smart little tricks that you do around your content, like the advertising opportunities. So, for example, having a video appear within the box here is something that they'll pay you for. Having additional links pop up at different stages which market other products or other elements of different channels, that's going to be a paid opportunity. There are a lot more things you can do. They mentioned a keyword in here called Adsense, which means you can also have a blog, for example, where you can now post Google-based adverts on your page whilst you also feature YouTube content. So now what you're starting to do, and I'll use a really simple example to help understand this concept. So if I go to GRM Daily currently, only because I know this from previous experience, they use this in exactly the same thing. So we've got pretty much an entirely YouTube-based channel here. Most of the content that you click on within this web page here will take you to some sort of YouTube content, which will all turn into money back for GRM because they're the host channel. They also have over 3 million subscribers these days, which will help them a lot in terms of rates of pay, plus obviously being able to market to mass audiences. So not only do brands want to work with them through YouTube and their kind of content and featured content and unique opportunities with artist relationships and things like that, they're also really interested to try and have other major brands feature adverts both before, during and after the content being displayed as well. So if I take a simple example here, to advertise at the top of the page here used to cost around about £1,000 a week with GRM. Okay, then you'd get smaller adverts like this section here. This would reduce to 500, and if you want a full page feature, I think the price for the whole website for the week was around about 5,000. Now again, whilst GRM don't make all of their money through YouTube, they use the presence of YouTube through a website to be able to get that opportunity, and all of these slots, so they're actually their own individual priced, but you can do this using Google's AdSense. So you could have slots available here, 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 and as you go through to go look at posts, for example, you'll also see that there's other slots available, which all of these they charge for advertising space for you to make your product and brand prominent through them. Now, again, I don't want to get caught up too much in GRM's kind of business model because we're focused on this, but the main thing I wanted to make it relevant back to this is you can also use YouTube linked advertising opportunities through stuff that isn't directly on YouTube but advertises on and around it. So for example, if we go to a YouTube video here, let's find something quickly. Okay, if I come to the top, there are various different elements that pop up on this page. The same way if I go through and look at a specific video, for example, so let's just choose this one. These are advertising spaces here. So all of these opportunities generate income as well if you've been sensible with how you've orchestrated and set up your page in terms of monetization. Anyway, we'll come back to all this stuff. Apologies for the loud noise today as well. Okay, so there's a page here all about the guidelines, but the thing I do want you to see is this is the YouTube Creator Academy. Okay, it's very easy to find through Google. And on here, it will give you an overview of community guidelines. It then talks to you about sex and nudity, hate, spam. So all of these are areas that potentially can ban your video. YouTube are very clear on what is able to be done. I'll play this video very quickly for 4 minutes, but then I want to start getting through some of the other content too. So let's just take this in for a second.
If you create content for YouTube, it's important to understand our community guidelines, common sense rules that anyone using YouTube needs to follow to keep their videos and account in good standing. If these aren't followed, content may be flagged by the community and after review could be removed, age-gated, or possibly have features restricted on that channel. All content posted to YouTube is subject to our community guidelines, thumbnails, titles, and even comments in chat. We do understand it can be frustrating when an action is taken on one of your videos and you aren't sure why. In this video, we'll walk you through the guidelines so that you have a better understanding of what is and isn't okay on YouTube. So let's get started. First of all, YouTube generally doesn't allow nudity or sexual content, including pornography. But videos that discuss sexuality from an education, documentary, scientific, or artistic perspective may be the exceptions to the rule. If your video fits into one of these categories, call it out clearly in the video and in the metadata so people can better understand the context of the video. Racy videos that might not go against our guidelines, like a dance performance where the costume shows some nudity, may get age restricted but not necessarily taken down. Don't post harmful or dangerous content, so no videos encouraging others, especially kids, to do things that could hurt them, or your videos will be age restricted or removed. But a video that teaches people how to do karate, for example, is okay. Remember, context is important. Next up is no violent or graphic content, please. So gory videos that are shocking or show gratuitous violence are not allowed on YouTube. If you're making news or documentary videos that show violent or graphic content, always provide a description in the video and its metadata to help people understand it's for informational purposes. YouTube does not allow any form of child endangerment or sexualization on the platform. We work closely with expert organizations who will report child exploitation to the right law enforcement authorities. Respect copyright and only upload videos you made and own the rights to. Don't use anything someone else owns unless you have their permission or it falls under fair use. Check out the Copyright Center for more details. And if you need great music, try the YouTube Audio Library, where all the tracks are free. Do not post any hateful content or make hateful comments. But what is hateful content? Well, it's anything that incites violence against people based on race or ethnicity or things like gender, age, or sexual orientation. YouTube supports freedom of speech, but it's not okay ever to post videos that could provoke hatred towards a specific group of people or incite violence. And any threats like predatory behavior, stalking, or intimidation are unacceptable. Anyone caught doing these things may be permanently removed from YouTube. Don't post videos that harass or cyberbully anyone. If you post malicious videos or comments on YouTube, these can be reported and removed. Remember, there's a person behind every video and comment. Please respect privacy. Don't post anybody's private information on YouTube anywhere. If someone has posted your personal information or uploaded a video of you without your consent, You can request to have the content removed. And think carefully before you share any of your personal information on YouTube. And when you film, get permission from everyone you're recording. At YouTube, we're all about keeping it real. So accounts that are established to impersonate another channel or individual may be removed under our impersonation policy. And finally, spam. Writing misleading descriptions, tags, titles, or thumbnails to increase views is not allowed. Don't post or comment large amounts of untargeted, unwanted, or repetitive content. Nobody likes scams or scammers. The community guidelines help protect our vibrant YouTube ecosystem. So whether you're a new creator or you've been doing this for a while, be sure to follow these guidelines and help keep us all safe. And for a full listing of all policies and to see what you can do if one of your videos gets flagged, check out the links in the description, which will take you to our help center.
Okay, so really helpful kind of platform, again, all by YouTube. Again, it's good to see the logo there because you know that it's going to be quality information about the platform rather than a third party's interpretation of that. However, I do want to add my own onto this only because we are looking at how to monetize YouTube content or potentially podcast content, in that there was an element here around freedom of speech. There are a lot of YouTube content creators, including the largest YouTube content creator that has verbalized in the last 3 months, especially with the pandemic situation, that certain content can't be spoken about and that certain elements don't have full free speech. Instead, they create complications and limitations to your content to be shared. So a really good example of that is someone like Joe Rogan, who one of his main reasons behind moving from YouTube to Spotify has verbalized and said that he felt that he was starting to get too many limitations from YouTube and almost being forced to interview people as opposed to the flexibility and freedom he had. So I just want to add that as a little disclaimer in there, that what they're saying on YouTube is one thing, but you may also find that newer emerging platforms give you total freedom of speech compared to areas where there might be some limitations. But again, I'm not saying that to be negative towards any other party. I'm just saying it because if you're going on there to have a controversial talk show about political issues, for example, your content may struggle to always be monetized. If you're going on there to talk about something like the pandemic and your opinion and research that you've done, you may find limitations with that too. So YouTube's great, lots of stuff to be done there, but at the same time, you may need to be careful about your subject areas and your full understanding of freedom of speech. Anyway, I don't want to spend too long on the first few slides because we've got quite a few to get through today.